But the comeback, I was just riveted, Rob, on the edge of my seat. And the most exciting part was, to me, were the middle holes when he was down. No,
he had to come back to win this. Right, he had to come back to win.
Molinari was 13 under, and are they going to make it? And he kept getting these pars, and I was like, man, dude got to start getting some birdies.
But he didn't have an eagle, right? In this,
no.
Which was shocking that he won. Eagles.
He hit some great shots down the stretch. Was it the 16th when he had that 50-foot chip or whatever it was? He had some tremendous shots. His driver was staying in the fairway. He was great, and it was exciting. And I was caught up again. Even though I wasn't this humongous Tiger Woods fan, I was caught up. I was happy for him. A redemption story obviously is great, and it was fantastic.
But if you don't get caught up, and whether you're a Tiger fan or not, just from the athletic part of it, to be able to come back, and the vision and the picture of Tiger Woods hugging his son after this. This is 11 years between winning a major. That's all Tiger was about, was majors. And he won the first 14 very easily. It was like, oh, this guy's going to smash.
He was going to demolish, Nicklaus's record,
right? And then it just halted. 11 years passed. And then you look at the comeback. If you didn't get goosebumps or have a lump in your throat or feel great at that moment, you're not alive. You're not human.
You're not a sports fan.
You're not a sports fan, because he had everything that you would want to see in the comeback. He was down and out, surgeries, back. His wife beat him up with a golf club. He got divorced. He lost money. He lost sponsors.
Totally
everything. He was mud. Tiger Woods was mud. And on the golf course, DUI. And you know what he was? He had become the butt of jokes. He had become embarrassing to watch. He was a punchline. He was unwatchable. That's what he was. And all of a sudden, he's back on top. It's one of the greatest sports stories you could ever imagine.
Well, let me ask you that. After we hear this from Tiger, I'll ask you that.
I had serious doubts after what transpired a couple of years ago. I could barely walk. I couldn't sit, couldn't lay down. I really couldn't do much of anything. Luckily, I had the procedure on my back, which gave me a chance at, having a normal life. But then all of a sudden, I realized I could actually swing a golf club again, and I felt if I could somehow piece this together, that I still had the hands to do it. The body's not the same as it was, a long time ago, but I still have good hands. And so I always felt I could do pretty much anything physically. But then for a while there, I just couldn't even walk. So now I'm able to play golf again and and do it at an elite level again, which is something that I'm just very blessed to be able to have that opportunity again.
All right, Rob Parker, I put it out to you. Greatest comeback in sports history, American sports history?
It is very close, because I know where you're going, and your pick.
Don't bite mine.
No, I'm not. And your pick is hard to argue with, but I'm going to tell you this: in the condition that Tiger was, where he was, his career, and you know this, Chris, you can't even tie your shoes with a bad back. That's how much your back plays
your back
into.
Is huge.
It's huge. You can't do anything without your back.
Right.
For Tiger Woods to get up off the mat, name drug, reputation all through the mud, physical, mental. Sometimes I thought he just couldn't believe he could win again. Where he was and what he did, I'm going to vote this for the greatest comeback of all time.
Wow.
I am. It's an incredible story.
I'm going with Muhammad Ali regaining the World Heavyweight Championship. 7 years after it was taken from him because he wouldn't go into the Army. 3 years he was exiled. Here's the thing two things people forget about Muhammad Ali. Number one, is that when he was exiled, we look at it now as, for 3 years he lost out, But he had no idea whether he was going to be able to fight again.
Oh, no.
Like, when he was exiled, as far as he knew, something
he was done.
He was done. He had worked his entire life to become the heavyweight champion, and he gave it all up.
On his beliefs.
Was done.
Right.
And so that's number one. And it's one thing if you had told him, people take it like, okay, he knew he was going to be out 3 years. No,
he didn't know.
Could have been 33 years.
But the only thing I'll say is, and you're right.
Tiger did. He had some wrongdoing. Now I think it was overblown.
But he still did wrong.
He had some wrongdoing.
Right.
Whereas Ali was just standing up for his religious beliefs.
Right. But the only difference is Tiger had to also overcome physical. And that's the part that Ali was a healthy young buck, whatever you want to call it.
Well, that's my second point. Like, as much as we saw of Ali, and he came back and he beat Frazier, lost Frazier, beat Frazier, regained the championship in Zaire, beating Foreman in 1974 at 32 years old.
Which I listened to on the radio as a kid.
Yeah, that was back then. 32 was old. So he was an old man beating the invincible George. George Foreman was every bit of Mike Tyson.
No doubt.
In terms of his reputation and image.
There was nothing but great heavyweights during that time.
When Tyson was knocking everybody out, that's who Ali was fighting. But here's the other thing. Those 3 years would have been Ali's best 3 years. He was just beginning to come into his prime and who he is and gain his strength, and he was untouchable, and then it's taken away from him. He comes back, he's slower, he's bigger, he's heavier. He still was great, obviously, but not quite what he used to be. So that I go with Ali. But look, Tiger, this one is fantastic.
This is for the books.
We put it out for you. What is the greatest sports comeback of all time? You got Virginia in the NCAA tournament, losing to the 16th seed last year, coming back the next year and winning it. Pretty much all the same kids. You've got, some people think Michael Jordan.
His comeback after a couple years, baseball, right?
Baseball, losing to Orlando in the second round. So maybe there are a few other things. George Foreman winning the heavyweight championship.
I covered that fight.
What was he, 45 years old?
That was a lucky punch. That's all that was.
It was, but but still. So give us a call, 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Your thoughts on Tiger and the comeback. All right, Magic City Monday, and we threw it out to you. Tiger Woods, incredible comeback. Where does it rank all time? Let's start with Marty in Kentucky. Marty, you're on with Chris and Rob.
How's it going, Chris and Rob?
We're great, man. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good, and I'm going to have to go with Tiger. It was probably the most enormous sporting thing I've witnessed in my lifetime. I've never had my phone blowing up from so many people over a sporting event, and the comeback being so big because he had a physical and emotional low in his life, with the injuries and all the problems, him going to such a low. It was just a great comeback and so enormous. I mean, I'm sitting in a turkey blind in the middle of the woods watching this on my phone.
That's amazing, ain't it?
Wow.
That's amazing,
just
Marty.
Think about that.
No,
a guy like me.
It was incredible. It was incredible.
I don't watch golf. I'm just a country boy. I'm turkey blind in the middle of the woods watching this.
I hear you. It was that type of event.
That's pretty nice. Thanks, Marty.
Let's go to Sean in Sacramento. Sean, you're on with the Odd Couple.
Hey, fellas, man, another amazing show as usual. Happy Magic City Monday to you, Big Rod.
That's right, yo. No doubt. I got to put these girls through college. I'm going to do all I can.
I just
hey,
got
man,
10
educating
bucks.
the nation, man. Tell them, Big Rod.
No doubt.
$10. I got it.
You ain't got my money. I need those singles.
All right,
what you got?
All right. So a couple things, man. Number one, the biggest comeback of all time was LeBron coming back to the Cavaliers, being down 3 games,
in a
and still making it work.
But that's really almost like a whole different thing than what we're talking about.
But I mean, you want to talk about a personal disaster? He left Cleveland and had his whole city turn their back on him, burning his jerseys, telling he could never come back home. And he still made it work. Whereas you got a guy like Tiger.
So you're talking about the whole comeback. You're not talking about just the 3-1 series.
You mean to come back to Cleveland and winning a championship and all that?
That's more fair, I think, Rob.
Yeah,
like I get that. That's
okay, if you want to put it in a bigger pot,
right? Because this Tiger thing is bigger than what LeBron did.
And Sean,
the 3-1.
And Sean, Sean, this is the thing, and Chris and I, and talking about this, it's just that Tiger overcame his career was in the dumps, and physically he was messed up.
His image was gone.
Right.
I mean, as much as LeBron went through, I mean, he came back to Cleveland a 2-time champion, could do no wrong, whatever. I mean, they loved him when he came back. So I get it. I think, like you said, if you put it in the context of just him coming back to Cleveland, period, and then delivering the championship a year later or 2 years later, I get that.
Yep.
I get
that. How about Daniel in South Carolina? You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call.
Appreciate it.
And I'm going to have to disagree with you. I don't think it is Tiger. I don't even think he's the best comeback in golf. Ben Hogan his car was broadsided by a Greyhound bus, and he broke his pelvis and his collarbone, almost died, and then he almost died again in the hospital due to blood clots, and won the PGA Championship 11 months later.
That's an incredible story.
Right. I mean, I guess none of these are wrong.
No, there's no wrong answer, but Daniel, I think
11 months. I mean, that's incredible.
That's incredible. That's a miracle. That's a miracle comeback to be near death twice and then win golf 11 months later. So
let's go to William in New York. William, you're on with Chris and Rob.
Hi, yes. Nothing against what Tiger Woods did. What he did was great, but I think in sports it would be Mario Lemieux after being diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yep.
Not thinking he would be able to play again, coming back. I mean, if he didn't miss that time, I think he would have been better than Gretzky.
And then win a Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, now he owns the Penguins.
Right. It is an amazing story, William. Thanks for sharing it with us. No doubt about it. There are a lot. I mean, Chris gave his, I gave mine. That doesn't mean they're the only two stories out there.
Right. No, it's some good ones.
Appreciate the calls.
That's one of the things that makes sports great. I mean, the sports themselves are awesome. But stories like this, these comeback stories are just
This is what we always say, Chris. Sports isn't like math. Math has a right and wrong answer.
Right.
2 and 2 is 4 no matter who's doing the math. But when you talk about sports, you see something one way, I see something another way, and we all have different takes on it.
Those are all good takes.
All of them, right?
Yep.
They're not one bad one.